What is going on, traders? Johnny Trades here with another Sunday Stock Talk. Today is Sunday. It is 10/26/25, so it is almost the end of October, and it's about an hour after the market opened on the overnight session. So we are going to talk a little bit about the overall market, the direction it's taking, and a couple of stocks that I got my eye on for this week ahead. Let me go ahead and move that level 2 market data down, since we won't be using that until tomorrow morning's live day trading session, where you can tune in and watch me trade live 100% free. It is the first link in the description below if you want to watch me trade live. So let me just share my link real quick. I am a one-man show, so I don't have someone behind the scenes doing all of this for me. So I have to do it myself. So real quick here, we're going to share that to our private group of over 70,000 members. Yes, that is correct. Our private community, Investing for Beginners community. It is a private group on Facebook. Definitely check it out. It is the, you can get into this, is it the second link? I think it's a second link in the description. Let me see real quick if that is the case. No, it's actually not on here, so we're going to go ahead and put that right underneath here. It's going to be the fifth link. Yeah, we'll go ahead and make that the fifth link here below, and I could always change that up a little bit. Free private group. And we'll paste that right there for you all. Go ahead and refresh the page, and you will get that link, so that way you have access to that. Also sharing the link to our Discord. We're getting ready to cross over 1,000 members. That's a little bit more along the line of day trading and swing trading, but still definitely join both groups. They're both 100% free. Lifetime access if you get in now. It may not be free for long. So guys, the overall market pumped all the way up to 628, which is insane from those 617 levels we saw on Friday. Now, what's crazy is it surpassed the resistance of 613 finally after some time. This would create a new support level if it can hold and maintain above that level. Now, a new resistance, as we can see very clearly here, is right at 628. So 628 for QQQ, and the overall NASDAQ market is at 628. Now coming back down to 622. Nonetheless, still up $5 in the overnight session. And yeah, we have a crazy week ahead. You can get access to our Discord. It is the first link below, but if you go down and scroll all the way down, even past the welcome new members, we're getting new members every single day in this Discord. If you scroll all the way down past the trade ideas, past the morning live trading, where you can watch all my past live day trading videos, again, in the Discord, it is free. Past the main trading floor, you can go to wealth resources, and under the wealth resources is our weekly economic calendar. And this, wow, guys, we have a huge week in store for everyone who is watching the overall NASDAQ market, and any earnings releases that will be coming out this week are going to be available right here for you to see. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to this week. It's going to be a very crazy week indeed. And yeah, let's go ahead and talk about it. So welcome. Let me know where you're tuning in from. If you are tuning in from somewhere, I'd love to know. We have people from not only all around the country, but all over the world who tune into these live streams and into our morning live day trading sessions at market open. So definitely tune in, say hi, share your ticker symbol with me, and I will view that ticker symbol for you we'll go over it and do an analysis on it, just for you simply coming in today. So glad to be here. Um, and let's get started with this week. So we have Keurig and Dr. Pepper reporting before open on Monday, along with a few other companies here. After close, we have Waste Management. I would say that's pretty significant here. Tuesday morning, what I'm looking forward to is the SoFi earnings before opening. United Healthcare Group, PayPal, and UPS, to list a few. Tuesday after close, I'd say Visa, maybe Seagate among the few there. Wednesday is going to be the day that I am most excited about. Before open, it's going to be reporting Verizon, Boeing, CVS, and Caterpillar. I'm very excited to see what their earnings are for those. And not only that, I'm even more excited to see exactly what Meta and Microsoft and Alphabet or Google and Chipotle all report their earnings after close on Wednesday. Looking very forward to that. Thursday, we have LLY before open. And then after close on Thursday, guys, we have Amazon, Apple, Coinbase, and Reddit. MSTR as well, and Riot. I'm very excited to see the earnings after close on Thursday. And then Friday before open, we have ExxonMobil and Chevron. AbbVie is another one in particular that I have my eyes on for this week. So if you want an update on those, we give them every single week, these economic, most anticipated earnings releases for our weekly economic calendar, in our wealth resources section. So definitely check it out. Big tech earnings preview. So estimated Q3 revenues and estimated Q3 EPS for Tesla, Google, Microsoft, Meta, Apple, Amazon, AMD, Nvidia, AVGO, and Oracle. Very excited to see what happens with those. And also I wanted to showcase this, hedging trade tensions for strategic sectors. We got the AI engine up here with Nvidia, AMD, AVGO, and MU. Resources like rare earth materials, critical metals, CRML, just recently made over $200 trading CRML. Lithium, which would be RIO, SQM, ALB, and LAC. Uranium, graphite, and antimony. Anti-money. I don't know. Anyways, space exploration also on the sites of most traders here. Rocket launch and satellite communications. You have Rocket Lab, ASTS, Space Mobile, SATS, and VSAT or Viasat. Aerospace and defense, you have GE, which, guys, come on, remember GE was like literally a household name brand for appliances. Now they're in the aerospace industry. Boeing and Lockheed Martin, to name a couple. Nuclear power like Oklo, I know that one's very popular more recently. Batteries such as Tesla, QuantumScape or QS, and Bloom Energy, BE. Grid and energy storage, again, GEV. Vistra Energy, and the AES Corp. So, definitely a couple different ways to make some money. We got some memes going on here. Someone's sharing some memes today. That's Scott Besnett crying, and some off-topic chats as well. This guy right here is, my goal is to make 100K trading this year. He only needs 152,000 to go, so he's actually 2,000 negative. We thought that was pretty funny. And then the stocks, guys, is unreal. When Trump says he's going to meet with Xi, the market goes up. When he's not going to meet with Xi, it goes down. And when he meets with it goes back up again. So we just never know in this current market condition exactly, the way it's going to go. So active members, we have 28 active members right now, over 650 offline, but guaranteed a lot of them will be trading session tomorrow. Definitely tune in. All right, so now we got all that covered. Let's go ahead and talk about the overall market conditions. it pushed all the way up to 628. Now, we could potentially see some more selling pressure down to 613, maybe even 617 to test where it was trading on Friday. It could also come down to, 600 again. I don't know if it will. I'm thinking it probably test and consolidate around 610, 613, but I'm excited to see where the market ends up in the morning. Right now it is holding around that 622 level, as it should. The markets are pushing up. There's no reason for it to. The markets overall long term do push up more than they sell off. A few sell-offs more recently, but nothing too crazy as of late. So again, markets pushing up. And so with that said, the VIX index is closed. We won't really know what the VIX is at until the morning, but it is at a low 16 on Friday. Again, anything over 20, it's going to increase volatility of the market, as well as increasing the chances of it selling off further. So the lower of the VIX index is, the less volatility or less movement and fluctuation for QQQ, and also the less likely chance it will sell off more. SPY overall pushing up from 678 to 682 and trying to hold. I'm not gonna lie, guys. My Roth IRA is looking really good these last few weeks as it's pushing to higher highs. I mean, even today, or even just this last week, we're up 2% in a week on that long-term Roth IRA. We're talking, if you have $100,000 in your Roth IRA, you just made a quick $2,000. If you had 10 grand, a quick $200. So not bad start to the beginning of the week and the last week in October. TQQQ pushing up to 113, and man, I traded this on Thursday. We made some decent money on it on Thursday during the live stream. I held it through the live stream and afterward, selling it to lock in profit. And man, if I would have just held it, we would actually be in even more money right now. The resistance level at 109 and 110, had me a little nervous there for a minute. I wasn't sure I wanted to hold through it, and so I locked in profits on that. Now, SQQQ selling off to 1350. If you believe that QQQ can retrace a little bit more and come down to that 613 level, then maybe you'd be curious on investing in SQQQ, as this could potentially spike up to retest these moving averages. Doesn't have to, but it definitely could if the market does sell off even more. Now let's see what's going on for a couple of the stocks that I have in my watch list. Lunar, or LUNR, this is a space exploration company. And guys, this is showcasing a very nice horizontal pattern setup. It has been since the beginning of October, bouncing from that 1070 mark, pushing up to 13, bouncing back to that moving average, pushing all the way up to 1450, coming all the way back down to that 1070 mark again, pushing up to 13, coming back down and pushing back up again. So now where does it go from here? With the way the pattern is set up, we can see that this sells off back to that $10 or $11 mark. Now if it holds around that 1250, we can see some nice upward momentum back up to 1350, back up to 1450. Now definitely be careful with this company. It has a lot of free float, over 109 million free float. It does not have a lot of volume compared to the free float, but this is a company that, hey, if you can get it in at $10, $11 around this level, then definitely load up on it, as it does have this nice horizontal pattern indicating strong areas of support and resistance. So I'm keeping my eye on that to get a nice price around that 10, 11, maybe $12 mark. Now again, if it does hold that moving average at around 1250, we can see it bounce up, and we do not want to miss out on that beautiful trade here if it does end up breaking through that resistance level. So that's kind of my trade setup moving into tomorrow. If it does hold and bounce off of this level, great. We can see some upward momentum. We could also just get up to $13 or so. But even so, if it pushes up from if it sells off 4 or 5%, this thing can push up very nicely as well, resulting from 12.50 to 13, about a 5 to 6% profit. I like to aim for companies that move 5 or 10% potential profit with about a 1 to 2% risk. So that'll give me a nice 1 to 5 risk to reward ratio. That's where my bread and butter is, and that's how I make my money. Now, I do have a lot of videos coming out this week. I have 5 videos already set up for you guys to release Monday through Friday, probably around, I'd say, like 2 or 3 p.m. That way you guys are able to watch those videos talking about my strategy, talking about exactly how I'm able to stay consistent in the market, and it's going to showcase examples, real life profits, and hopefully some tips and trips that you can take away from those videos to make you a better and more profitable trader. So definitely subscribe if you haven't already, because we have a lot of great content coming to you this week and every week after that. So sound, interesting enough, it is bouncing off of this moving average. I do like this upward momentum that it is creating for itself. Now, I did push all the way up to $22, but the true resistance is right around 20 bucks. Now, I'd like to see this push from 18.50 to 20. I believe it can do so if it chooses to, and it is bouncing right off of that moving average. If we can take the VWAP off, and we'll actually mess around with some of our EMAs. Let's take out that 9 EMA and the 20 EMA to give us a bit of a clearer picture here of exactly our setups. We're going to go ahead and take these support levels off, and as you can see here, it did bounce right off of that 1650 support. Now, I did trade this, so if you want to watch the live stream from 10:22, click the first link in the description. It's 100% free, lifetime access. Go to live trading and find the date 10/22, and you will see me buying this at 1650 and selling it at was it 18? I want to say it was like $18 even, something like that, but making over $1.50 per share. Very beautiful trade. Made some decent money on that, and honestly should have held. It's already up to 18.50 with potential to go up to $20. Now, there is always potential for it to come back down to 16.50, even retesting 17.85, 17.80. But I believe this would be a really nice trade setup. If we go to that long position here and set this in place, I would actually be buying around 18.50, and then my stop would be probably around, if you wanted a bigger stop, it'd be at that moving average. If it breaks that moving average around 17.80-ish, but the target for it would be right around $20. So again, that's about a 1 to 2 risk to reward, risking about 4 to make about 8. Not the best setup. If anything, I would actually wait for this to come down just a little bit more to test that moving average, and then from there we'd be able to actually decrease our risk, buying in at around $18, having a risk of about 1%, risking about 20 cents per share to make about 11% profit. So that'd be very nice. That'd be basically a 1 to 10 risk to reward. So I'm risking 1% to make 10%. That's probably going to be my trade setup for sound if it holds at these levels. Okay, it doesn't have to, but we're going to go ahead and leave that there for future reference. Now, SoFi is up to $30, and it has done a great job by breaking these resistance levels. It does have, again, that very nice horizontal pattern that I like to trade, bouncing at 25, pushing all the way up to 30, coming all the way back down to 25, and now pushing back up to 30, and through that resistance level, now sitting at $30.15 overnight. I do believe this may be able to go a little higher, but it is a little bit too risky for me to take a trade on it right now, as that risk to reward ratio is way off, right? It's way off for me. We're talking, if I'm buying way up here, my target is what, 31? because due to previous resistance levels. Now, of course, this can go to 32, 35, $40, $35, but look at the risk. I mean, even to the moving average, I would be risking 7% to make roughly 4%. And if it goes back to the support level that it's bounced at 25, I would be risking 16% to make 4%. So it's not necessarily a trade setup I want to take long, you know, but I also wouldn't want to short this either, as this could continue to push up. Now remember, it does report earnings on Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken, after close. Okay, so I want you all to be aware of that. That Wednesday after close, SoFi does report earnings, and we want to make sure that we're not caught holding the bag on 30. They get bad earnings and it goes all the way back down to $25. That is something I do not want any of you guys to do. So definitely trade this with some risk management in mind. Could have swore I downloaded it. Where is it at? Right here. And just to verify that that was in fact on, oh, it's on Tuesday before open. So we'll have a trading day tomorrow, and then in the morning on Tuesday before open, SoFi will report their earnings. Okay, I want you guys to be aware of that. Now, moving on, you guys can drop a ticker symbol in the comments and I will review your stock. But until you guys do, I'm just going to keep going through my list. I have shortened it. I believe we're at 25 or almost 30 stocks last week. We had a bunch of them that we were tracking for community members, as well as our Discord members and our YouTube subscribers that they called out last week, like stocks like Marvel and American Battery Technology. There's a few of them that we were tracking. I did take them off the list because they are no longer relevant. We even traded Beyond Meat. We made, what was it, 10 or 15% profit on Beyond Meat, and that has completely gone to crap. It was a meme stock. Started at 50 cents. It pushed all the way up to, was it $12 or $8? Pushed all the way up to $8, and we actually traded it right in this day here and made some decent money. Now it's all the way back down to $2. Not a company that you would have wanted to hold long term. Again, starting at 50 cents, pushing up to 8.85 due to, a lot of, it's a meme stock, so it's basically like GameStop all over again with Beyond Meat. Reddit and social media got a hold of this and pushed it up. Some shorts took losses and probably regained them all back since then. And those long-term investors who bought at the top, they're not looking good, guys. Okay, Beyond Meat from $8.85 to now $2. That is a 70 profit or a loss, a 78% loss, as you can see right here on this square. You see this square right here, 78% loss from those all-time highs. Okay, so Beyond Meat is just not in the question anymore, and it is removed from the watch list. Now, Cinex is a company I've been watching for quite some time. Again, all month long, even since September, it's been bouncing off of that $28, $28.50 level, and then has been, it has skyrocketed since to $35. Now, this could be due to the tariffs, increased prices for aluminum in general, but going from $35.46 and then pushing all the way back down to $28, that was a significant sell-off, 20% sell-off to retest that moving average. Now, since that bounce off of the moving average of $28.50, it pushed all the way up to $32.50 on Friday, which was about a 13% profit. Now sitting at about a 9% profit from that point. So still has some room to push up to that $35 mark again, but it also has room to go down to 28. So we're going to be watching this company throughout the week. I wouldn't mind buying in at 28, 25, $29, maybe even $30 if it holds in this level. But right now, that risk to reward is pretty much a 1 for 1. It's like flipping a coin. Now Intel, look at Intel. Again, a horizontal pattern, very nice. This is one of my go-to bread and butter trading patterns that I like to trade, buying at support level. Because look, if I'm buying at support and I have a very small risk to reward ratio, right? I'm buying at support of $35, 35.50, and I'm having a stop loss around 35.30. That's only 20 cents per share in reality, and I'm able to make, $3 to $4 profit, right around $3 profit, or 8% when it pushes up to that resistance level. And then it's rinse and repeat after that. Once you find a company like this that can horizontal pattern the way it does, that's an 8% profit right there. There's another potential 8% profit right here. Another one is right here. And then just recently, again, buying at that $36 level, pushed all the way up to 41.65, which was a 15% profit. So by just showing up on a daily basis, trading the lows, buying the lows and selling the highs, there is opportunity everywhere to make money with Intel. Now, I would trade it within this range, but that trend or this pattern has been broken. It pushed up all the way to 15%, sold off. Now it's testing this 45 EMA on the 4-hour time frame. But what is it going to do? Is it going to get rejected off of 38 and go back to 35.50s? Or is it going to hold and push up to 41.65? This is what I'm curious about, because this has never happened before. Okay, this is a new all-time high for Intel, and I'm very excited to see what happens. I used to trade this company back in the day. I mean, we could even go back to, let's see, 2024. I was trading this at the $17 levels, and then even before that, in 2022, buying it at the $20 levels and selling it in the 50s. So this company has been much higher before. Even leading up to 2020, this was at $62 at one point for the highs, and all the way down to those $38 for the low. So Intel does definitely have potential to push up higher than $40 or $38. It can go all the way up to 50. Now the thing is it going to? Right? That's the big thing right there, is if it's going to. There is a lot of resistance right around that $45 mark. I'm going to go ahead and showcase that here. And so we have quite a bit of resistance to go. But yeah, very solid company indeed. It sold off on Friday after a nice rally on Thursday. And now over hours, it's trying to hold at these current levels. So that is my kind of technical analysis on Intel for the moment. Hood is pushing up now. Hood, of course, is the Robinhood marketplace. A lot of people trade on Robinhood. They make their money by taking small little pieces of, I wouldn't say interest, but they're taking like 1 cent per trade. I believe they're also taking a certain, small amount of money on uninvested cash. So they definitely are profitable. They are making money. There are a lot of traders on the platform. They did recently see lows of 121, and that's what I want to showcase here. By identifying previous support levels, even if it was back in September, you see a lot of consolidation around 121. It pushed all the way up to 150s. It got resistance, and it kind of got stopped on that upward momentum twice. This was a double top at 154, now coming all the way back down to test that 121 support level again. Now that it pushed up, being able to identify that and buying at those 121 levels, you can see a nice 18% return already. And if it continues to go up to those 153 levels, a nice 26% return. So definitely a company that has a lot of upward momentum. At the same time, I'd be very careful, as the EMA is crossing over, which means more buyers can step in. But at the same time, people can start taking profits, and they could send this thing right back down to retest the moving average at about 134, 135, or even go past that moving average and come all the way back down to those 121 levels. NVIDIA, same thing, very nice. It was trading within this horizontal pattern for quite some time. It broke out of that horizontal pattern, now creating a new support level where the old resistance level used to be. If this can hold, NVIDIA can push up to 195 pretty easily as it was at that level before. And we're also seeing a lot of consolidation right around that 190 level. So this would indicate of course, some signs of resistance that this play may have already been overplayed. As you can see here, it pushed up to 190 in the overnight session just now as we're talking, and it's starting to get rejected as we speak. So I'm curious to see what happens. Does this come back down, retest 184 support, maybe even moving average, or does this continue to push up past the 190 level to those 195 levels and maybe even $200 eventually? Amazon, again, I love these horizontal patterns, guys. I mean, they do tend to repeat themselves. They do tend to bounce at the same exact areas. As you can see here, a lot of consolidation back in June at those 211, 216 levels. Then in August, it bounced perfectly off of 211, just beautifully, all the way up to 234. And then now in October, it has actually tested this not once, not twice, but 3 times, maybe even 4 times if you count this day and pre-market. But 4 times it has tested and validated support at $211 for Amazon, showcasing that that was a great support level and a great area to buy this company. Now pushing up to 227. This thing can continue to push up to 234, 239. But at the same time, I want you guys to be aware that we are seeing some of that rejection right around 228. Again, patterns tend to repeat themselves, psychological numbers, and the overall consolidation that we see on those resistance levels the same way as the support levels, indicating signs of a reversal. This was a beautiful 3 stages of reversal. You get that giant rejection period, you get a short-term consolidation period, and then you get that confirmation period where this would be the area you would want to load up. I wish I could do like a circle. I guess I could do a rectangle, but this would be the area where you'd want to buy. Okay, right here, signs of upward momentum. This is the pocket for most profitable traders. Now, if you're a beginner trader, most of the time you will be trading within this area. You might be buying the top, you might be buying somewhere in the middle, so that way when it does bounce down here, maybe you're even selling for a loss, or you're waiting for this to recover. Say you buy here thinking it's going to bounce at 220s, it sells off, you do hold, you're down 4%, but by the time it goes up and pushes up, you're only making maybe 1%, 2%, or maybe even breaking if you bought at these high levels. And that's what a lot of traders end up doing. They buy in this area, they get a higher average price, and by the time it swings down and goes all the way up, you're breaking even and you lost 2 weeks of trading. Do not buy in the rejection period, okay? If anything, you'd probably want to buy, you know, somewhere around this level would be a good area to consider buying a little bit. Maybe you're buying 10 or 20% of your full position size, which means if you're buying 100 shares worth of a company, maybe you're buying 10 or 20 shares down here to get a nice little average on that support level. And then as the market begins to push up, then you're adding a little bit more to your position, 10, 20 shares, 30 shares, 40 shares, 50 shares, to where now you're in a great trade with a good average price, holding 100 shares when this thing is showing signs of upward momentum, right? In that third stage, which is the confirmation stage, and that is going to make you a more successful trader long term. Great example of the 3 stages of reversal here. And again, very scary as well to be buying at these levels. So this is not something that I would buy as a day trade because this could come back down. Now, if it does break 228 and shows more signs of upward momentum, then maybe we're buying at 230s to 234 and selling at 240s. But until we get that confirmation, right now it's showing signs of rejection, which means this can continue to come back down. It could retest the moving average around 222 and possibly even that 216 or 211 level. AMD, beautiful play on AMD. This thing has been pumping ever since it started to break out from, again, another horizontal pattern, breaking out from 150s to 170 levels, and then just skyrocketing from 170 all the way up to 227, coming back down to 207 to test that support level around the 200s, pushing up to those 242s. And again, a nice little horizontal pattern. We actually traded it right in this area here. Another great example of having a very low risk to reward ratio. And you can see that very easily. If I could actually somehow move, well, I can't really move that thing out of the way. But the risk ratio would be about a 7, risking about 1 or 2% to make around 13 or 14%. Beautiful trade. We were able to take profits on that and lock in some decent money. Then it kind of traded horizontally for a while and has now broken out to 261. So right now in overnight hours, this thing is pumping, guys. It pumped all the way to 261.78, creating a new resistance level. Slight retracement back down to 260s overnight. And this has a potential to test this old resistance, which is now a new support of about 240. Or it could just blow through 260 and continue its upward descent. Now, AMD is very scary. We had somebody ask earlier in our private investing for beginners community on Facebook if he should buy AMD or if he should wait for a pullback. In my opinion, guys, this would be definitely a wait. I would wait. It just hit all-time highs of 260. This thing could come back down to retest the 45 EMA, which would be an 8 or 9% loss if you bought it now. And it could even come back down and test this moving average, the 200-day moving average, the green line around 195, maybe even around 200 by the time it comes down this far, which would be a 23% retracement. And you wouldn't want that. Again, the same example. Don't buy up here to wait and hold it all the way down here, get scared, maybe you get out of the position, or even at the very least, you watch this thing trickle back up and then it gets back up to all-time highs and you break even. And you wasted a week, a month, a year to break even on a trade when all you had to do was be patient, wait for it to come back down, and get a better entry on a pretty solid company, in my opinion. Okay, we got just a couple of more, and I will review any stocks you have as well. No one has put a ticker symbol in the comments yet, but if you put a ticker symbol in the comments, a company that you want me to review or just get a second opinion on, maybe some fresh eyes, then definitely just put it in the comments. No matter what it is, I will review it for you. We'll go over Bitcoin after these. And Google, again, horizontal pattern, nice breakout to that 267 mark, and it had a slight retracement already from that overnight session, right? Pushing up to 267, coming back down to 263. Can it hold at these levels or will it continue to push up? Only time will really tell. But now this old resistance level got tested as a new support. You can tell with the consolidation here and it holding that 256 could be a strong support for Google moving forward. Okay, next, didn't we just talk about Amazon? Yeah, Google, Apple. Apple, just another one of those companies, pretty much trading the same way. Got that horizontal pattern breakout. Now that 260 level is going to be a support level, and 265.80, 265.85 looks like it's going to be a new resistance. And again, this thing can continue to push up. It can get rejected and retest 260. It can even come all the way back down to moving average and test 250. All right. Tesla. Look at this. I love Tesla. I love Tesla so much. Elon Musk is one of my heroes. He's doing far more for the country and the world than probably half or even all of the presidents combined. Like Elon Musk is a major influence of our time. He's like an Albert Einstein or even a a Tesla, right? He's just killing it with all of the different technology and innovations and leading the way for even space exploration itself. So, you may not like the guy, you may like him. I know he's one of my heroes, as for sure. Not just Elon, but his whole team of people that back him, behind him, and work for him and with him. All are just doing just huge, major, just great things for this country and this in this great world that we live in. Now, as far as Tesla goes, it's been pushing from 325s. It pushed all the way up to 479, guys. That is insane. My only regret is I did not buy more at those $300 levels. It's up already $151 or 46% from that low where it bounced at the moving average to that new high of 479. Within that time, it has traded horizontally between 409 and like I'd say 440, 450 even. Now it did get rejected recently off of that $450 level, maybe even 451. But what I want to showcase to you is how many times it actually held above the 200-day moving average. Now, of course, on Thursday, or what is this, Wednesday, it did have a significant sell-off, and then it completely rallied on Thursday, tried to hold up on Friday, and sold off on Friday. But what I like is it's holding above this 200-day moving average very nicely, and the last time it held on that moving average, it pushed all the way up to those 479 levels. I would love to see this thing push up to $500. Doesn't mean it has to, but that's definitely a long-term target that I could see for myself and probably what Elon sees as well too. I think Tesla could go up to $500 very easily. And I also believe that this can come all the way down to 350s, even $300. And either way it wants to go, I'm going to be buying some down in these. Would be actually pretty good. We'd be significantly in the money once it rallies again. But what I don't want you guys to do is FOMO, for the fear of missing out, and buy at these levels, and you hold it as it slowly trickles down. Okay, so make sure you guys have a strong stop loss when it comes to those levels. And that's my spiel, guys. That's my spiel on the overall market conditions and exactly where it's heading. It looks like QQQ is holding up at those 622 levels. SPY is holding up at those 681 levels. And as long as it can hold and continue to push higher, then a lot of these other companies will also push higher. If QQQ and SPY start to go back down, they get a gap fill, because this is a big gap up. And usually when there's a gap up or a gap down, it'll actually come back down to retest. So we had a big gap up of almost 1%. This can very easily, very, very easily, guys, slowly trickle down all pre-market and overnight session back to this level. And then maybe we get a nice spike up. Okay, it could also trickle all the way back down to moving average. So I want you guys to be aware anytime there's a gap like this, usually there'll be a gap fill back to those previous levels. And as you can see here, QQQ is already given back half of that gap fill, right? It pushed all the way up to 628, 1.72%, and it's actually already given back 1% of that movement. So, does it hold, or will it continue that gap fill down to 217? Find out tomorrow morning in our live day trading session at market open. It is available to you 100% free. You have lifetime access, and all you have to do is join by clicking that first link in the description below and subscribing to the channel. So I appreciate you guys' time. I did notice that literally no one put a ticker symbol in here. That means none of you have any stocks that you're looking at on your own, or you're too scared to put the comment. Guys, this is a great community. There's no one going to laugh at you. There's no wrong answers. And if you're new to trading, that's even better, right? Because you can learn together with all the other new traders that are joining our community daily. So I'll give you a second. I'll give you a second. You guys don't have any tickers? No tickers, huh? That means you're all set for tomorrow. All right. Well, if that's the case, then that's where we'll end our Sunday stock talk. We'll let you get back to your friends, family, or just overall hanging out on your Sunday night. I know my family's waiting for me. We're gonna go eat some pizza, watch a movie, and enjoy the last couple hours of the weekend before we start the week again, right? Monday morning is coming around. Everyone's going back to work and back to school, and we are blessed enough to not have to do either one of those. We get to just wake up and trade stocks in the morning and continue on with our other side ventures and businesses. So appreciate your guys' time. Like always, smash that like button. And remember, let's end the year on a green note. Have a great day, guys, and see you tomorrow morning.